Let's now bring in National Security Institute founder and executive director Jamil Jaffer. Jamil, as you look at the situation now, Iranian retaliation on the way, clearly a whole lot of damage done to Iran's nuclear facilities, it would appear, its nuclear infrastructure, certainly its military command. How do you assess the situation as we look at it on what is Friday morning now in the Middle East, Jamil?
Well, Jonathan, obviously a devastating strike on Iran's military capabilities. They've killed the commander, the chief of staff to the Iranian military, the second highest ranking commander after the supreme leader. They've killed Hossein Salami, the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's Quds Force, and a couple of other major commanders. They've also gone after key parts of its nuclear infrastructure, including the Parchin military base, which was previously used for the development of weapons. We know they went after the halls at Natanz, the deeply buried. There are two sort of facilities at Natanz, some closer to the surface, other ones more deeply buried that might be hard to reach, even with bunker buster bombs. And then, of course, they've gone after what appears to be the heavy water reactor at Iraq. We're not sure about that. Right. We know there were some strikes in that region. We're not sure if they actually got the heavy water reactor. Questions also about whether they've gone after Fordo or not. But these are important Iranian nuclear facilities. It appears also, based on what Prime Minister Netanyahu said, this is just the first day of strikes. There will be more strikes. And now Iran responded with retaliation. Apparently 200 drones headed towards Israel now. We'll see how effective those are. At least historically, they haven't been very effective with the Israeli Iron Dome and other systems, David's Arrow and other systems taking down those drones in the past.
And Jamil, in taking out at least 3 of Iran's top military commanders, Israel seems to be following the playbook to some extent, albeit on a far larger scale when it's a nation state, that it followed both with Hamas and Hezbollah, just taking out leader after leader after leader. Do you expect those attacks against the leadership, not just the infrastructure, to be part of what we see over the next few days? As you said, Prime Minister Netanyahu says this is very much the beginning, not the end.
You know, it is very interesting. Israel's been strikingly effective at identifying where specifically Hamas, Hezbollah leadership is, where now Iranian military leadership is, their apartments, their facilities, their buildings, and taking them out in very clear precision strikes. That demonstrates a knowledge of the Iranian regime and its proxies, and knowing how to get them and where to get them. And I think that's very effective. They will continue this leadership decapitation strategy going forward. But of course, you can expect that Iran will respond after its military leaders are taken out. It will make it harder for them to respond, but they will attempt to respond, and we'll see how they go. It's likely they will respond not just with these drone strikes, but they will probably begin engaging in terrorist attacks with their proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, that have been largely damaged. But we'll see if they're able to effectively carry those out. And they may come after the United States, too. It would be unwise. It would be a mistake to do so. President Trump and Secretary Rubio have warned against that. And yet Iran may decide to lash out with the U.S. apparently having provided some amount of intelligence support. And, of course, the fighter jets that Israel is using are U.S. supplied F-15s and F-35s for these strikes.
Jamil, talking of the decapitation here, is there any scenario in which Israel simply takes out Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the leader of Iran?
Well, look, certainly that could be on the table. Regime change is obviously something the Iranian people have wanted for a long time. They don't want their regime in power. There's a huge debate. It appears on the streets within Iran. We've seen over the years a significant protests clamped down on by the Iranian military and their security forces. So there may be an attempt here to foment regime change. But, you know, you never know what you're going to get. You could get a worse leader. But at least Israel appears to be calculating that at least on the leadership side of the military, they need to take out that military leadership. It appears they did target the supreme leader. We're not sure about that, but it appears they may have tried to do that. We'll see. It doesn't appear that was successful, but they will continue to try that, and we'll see how effective that is. They've been very effective against other leadership, non-military leadership in other organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah. It takes them a while, but the Israelis eventually do get their man.
Yeah, and as you say, they have been extraordinarily effective in finding out where these leaderships are of Hamas, Hezbollah, and now Iran's military, and they are very effective in taking them out when they see the opportunity. Jamil Jaffer, great to have you with us as always. Thank you so much, sir.